Say that sound again, Sam. This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, and every last one of the homies is here.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
For better or for worse, all the homies in the house.
Full
All the
barn,
homies.
full barn after a week off. Today is Monday, July 8th, and we have finally reached the dog days of the summer.
Is there a certain date that we can declare the dog days of summer
I think it's
on this
I
podcast?
think it's post July 4th.
When there's no more basketball and no more hockey.
So then my question is, like, to be quite literal for a second, if post July 4th, so July 5th is the dog days for you Valley people and me, former Valley, the OVAC game is what for you?
Early this year?
Because for me, it always traditionally was like the pregame for life getting back to normal.
Well, Jim, that's in 2 weeks from today, correct, Nate?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
maybe the dog days is not like, we just
Yeah,
have
the
2 days,
OVAC
2
game
weeks.
is like on the calendar. It's like a month before the regular season.
Yeah, I think we're still in the dog days with that game.
Even at the OVAC game.
Yeah, it's like a strip tease.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a strip tease then. Okay.
Okay. But we still have a good bit to talk about this week.
Yeah. I'm always curious because I think the dog days are like January till the next kickoff.
There's like a lot going on in January.
But I'm so sad.
Hockey season.
That's true. That is true. I'm getting into hockey more now.
Yeah. We're going to talk about what's going on in the sports world over the past couple of weeks. Also, recent updates on what the group has been doing on the golf course.
Yeah.
The
WNBA is still making its way to the show.
Yep.
Things to chat about there, and
as it should.
And we have, as it should. If I didn't put this in there, Jim, I don't know if you know anything about it.
Oh, kiss my patootie! I think you. No,
who did you send?
I definitely saved it.
Your other friends that you talk about.
I sent it to Joe.
Your other friends.
My other friends.
Those don't exist, Jim.
I'm not the one who. Never mind.
It's just us.
Carry on.
And we have our first Pittsburgh Pirates update of the year, as Alex was at the game on Sunday.
Watching the Pirates pirate.
Pirates did pirate. As always, thanks to everybody who's interacting with our content on the socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding, ding.
Shout out to any new listeners and those that may have received any sweet hats manufactured by Harper and Company. Thanks as always for your support and helping to keep grow the podcast. Before we start this week, getting into golf. That's right, golf. Loyal listener and Baltimore guru Keith has requested Jim answer a question.
Oh boy,
that's good because I have one for him.
Because he can answer it right now.
Well, he'll listen and he will fire back an answer. Go ahead.
Jim, would you rather watch golf or competitive chess?
Competitive chess.
Because
come on now.
I find it to be very intriguing.
Do you even know the name of the chess pieces?
Rook, pawn, king, queen. I'm having a brain fart.
Well, Alex, I mean, to be fair, I don't know if Jim could name appropriate things golf related either.
Like club, ball, tee.
Birdie.
There you go.
Birdie is another golf term. Thank you, Sam.
I have a question for Keith though.
Go.
Is he gonna burn down his garage after he found a black widow in there?
That's a good question, of which I do not have the answer.
He needs to burn that sucker down.
Keith did find what his supposed to be a Black Widow spider.
It was so vivid, the Black Widow mark, that I thought it like he was making it up. But it's real.
Not making it up. Not making it up.
Burn it down.
All right, and lastly, before we get into our golf discussion, shout out to the Wheeling Miners for winning the America Arena League 2 championship on Saturday, beating Peach State 61-14, and ready to move into the National Arena League next season.
I was telling Sam, I think we went to the actual championship game. What was that final? Like 20 something to 12 or something. It was a lot closer of a contest.
It was.
But yeah, 61-14 in arena football's an ass whooping.
It's a lot of points to get up on that board. That is for sure. All right, that's it. We're going to get into golf. The podcast group, Nate, Jim, Alex, and myself, participated in a golf scramble a couple weeks ago to benefit the Wheeling YMCA, and the event was organized by a local community group that Nate's part of, the Circus Saints and Sinners. So let's get everyone's thoughts on the day's activities, the beverages, the play, the food, everything and anything. Let's start with Jim, who won himself a prize.
Are we gonna put Alex first off? We gotta put Alex back on the screen.
I don't know what happened.
He left and now he's back.
It just shut off.
I don't want to. He's up there on a mountain.
King of the castle, king of the castle.
Stop.
We're back. Sorry.
When do they need to stop, Jim?
Then he's gonna burn the motor up. He's still lighting it up. That race in Chicago, so stupid.
But you're watching it.
For this chaos.
They have dynamite in the back of that truck?
Maybe.
Is there, Jim?
Oh,
All right,
That didn't work out well.
back to our golf discussion here.
Yeah.
Jim, your thoughts on the event, your winning shot that you won a prize for, and how we're feeling about getting involved with more of this in the future.
My winning shot was pure freaking luck. Let's just be real clear. The fireball shot that we paid for beforehand, I think just took all of my skill and ramped it up to 100
It
for
did.
that one shot. The event itself, I love the steak and potatoes. Well done. Well done. I had fun at the event.
I had a great time.
It was, I think you were probably, Muff, more frustrated with us Jaguars, but my cart buddy, Mr. Nate, was probably the highlight of my trip. Consummate professional, great co-pilot. He had my back that whole trip. Kept me safe. He was great.
Got us a souvenir for the ride for most of it with that tree branch.
Got a little tree branch.
Muff, is that how you felt about me?
What? I was
As your
there
cart
to
buddy?
keep you safe.
Oh, yeah, you kept me safe. You're right. Never mind.
Personally,
That's how 90% of our life goes. Muff's keeping me safe.
The goal of the day for me was, let's get through the day, let's have fun, and don't piss off anybody else that's there.
I think we did that.
You spent a lot of time making sure we didn't piss off anyone. I will
And
give
not
you
finish
that. And not finish last.
We did not finish last. We were what, Nate? You said like third or fourth
I
to
think we had
last?
3 teams behind us.
Yeah, we finished
Woo!
four under, correct? That was what if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
That's embarrassing for those 3 teams. That's all I have to say.
I was very impressed with Muff's golfing ability. Like, I know you're a good golfer. I get all that. But, like, to see 18 holes of it was impressive. I was like, oh, Muff can golf. But then for you to, like, hey, Jim, do this. Or, hey, Alex, do that. And then we would do it. And, like, it might not be perfect because we're the ones executing it. But it still was better than what we were doing. That was nice.
It's a lot closer than it was when we were just like
Correct.
freewheeling.
Correct. I have questions.
I'll
Go
say
ahead.
Muff is our Chubbs to our Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
There we go. Except for I have all of my appendages.
Well, that we know of.
Fair enough.
We don't know your toes. What the longest putt thing?
Yes.
What was the actual like goal of it? So because the four of us hit the ball. Was it closest to
the prize?
like how do we win? Because I hit the ball trying to aim for the hole, and I never like followed up and asked you. Like
It's longest
how,
made putt is the skill prize.
so the goal was to get it in the hole, right? I did the right thing.
Yes, Jim, that's the whole shebang. Put the ball in the hole.
So why did we do it as a team and not an individual?
I think you're mixing.
Are you talking about the one that at the turn where we did like the putting?
pee break?
Yeah, the P break.
That was its own thing, Jim. That was a team competition.
Uh-huh.
And it was the total distance from the hole for the whole team. So they added everybody's individual up and got a team score, we'll say, which was a
From the
team
hole.
from the hole.
Unless you were too far, and then it was just a certain, like there was a cap out.
It was 5 feet was the farthest you could be. So,
and if you went past it, same thing. Like,
yeah, if you were in the fringe, they called that off.
Okay.
That was outside of the normal competition of the day. That was its own separate deal. That was like the circus game.
Got it. I was just so confused. I was just like, the guy kept saying 60. I was like, all right.
5 feet, correct.
Sure enough.
60 inches, 5 feet.
I mean, at that point, we have 5 holes left. And if I'm not mistaken, I had run out of Jack Daniels.
At that point, we had like 13 holes left.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jim, we started on 5. The punting contest was after number 9.
I was halfway.
And I had run out of Jack Daniels.
You had not run out of Jack Daniels.
I was halfway through Jack Daniels.
Did not run out. That's
believable.
Now, the only other comment I have for this, right? I think Nate can back me up. I don't think Alex will vouch for it. But Alex and Muff were pretty serious for like the first 5, 6. I'll give him 9 holes. And then Alex, I want to say at the fireball shot, kind of got on my level.
Yeah, things started taking a turn after doing shots.
And then it became Nate and Muff with a series. Well, sober ones. The rest of us were.
Him and I knew going into it we weren't going to be the best golfers of the group. Yeah. So we were just out there to whack the ball a few times. And I think after a while, Alex was like, oh, fireball? Yeah, let's just go whack the ball now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Baby, I'm a fireball.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
Once Alex was trying to weigh the training and the discussions we've had about golf and golf etiquette and playing golf with the influence of gin and the alcohol. And Alex, I think, was conflicted at times about how to best navigate that situation.
Muff, I think we have to let the listeners know what is the golf etiquette that Alex struggles with. Yeah. And what is his punishments for said actions?
That was a fun game too.
I don't know if that's. I mean, I'll say that's just a established practice. Is Alex's most regular mistake is not picking up the tee after teeing off on any hole. And Alex's punishment is if Alex does not pick up the tee, I pick up the tee and flick it as hard as I can at Alex's legs.
Blood.
And I drew blood Alex at least once on that day.
Yep.
That was the other fun part of the day.
I didn't realize I was bleeding at first, to be honest, and then I had to wipe the cart off where my leg was like bleeding. I like got up, I was like, oh shit, I really was bleeding.
Aside from that, everyone is not paying attention of where we're going to be hitting the ball on the green and just walking all in that and creating indents and potential issues for the putt.
I think
that was the biggest thing. Jim did not have any thought of this.
3 or 4 times.
Yes, multiple for sure.
Yeah,
but it was a good time. We'll participate in the future in some other situations. So, Jim won a closest to the pin on a par 3. He was about 1.5 feet, 2 feet away. We're not going to talk about how it got there, just that it got there.
He got there because he swung the club, hit the ball, and the ball rolled toward the pin.
That's exactly what went down.
What else happened? Are we insinuating that I didn't do it correctly?
No. Golf scorecards have no pictures, Jim. They only have results.
All right. I did the right thing as far as I know.
Exactly what Nate just said. You hit the ball towards the flag, and it ended up near the flag.
Yeah, my form probably was poop.
But you still won, and that's all that matters.
It got there.
All right. Any other thoughts on the event, the scramble? Nate, is it positive for your organization?
Oh yeah, I haven't heard the final results yet. We'll probably get that at our next meeting. But I think overall it was a great turnout. It was my first time at this event, so I look forward to participating in it next year.
We're
Awesome,
in.
awesome. We're in. Sign us up early this year.
We got to think of
Yeah,
good.
I'm down.
All right.
I'm
On a personal note, I put in a career record round with myself at Dogwood Hills Golf Course, a local place to me. I shot a 6 under 63. This was about a week and a half ago. So it's probably the best round I may ever have. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm gonna get my scorecard in like a little frame thing. I kept the ball that I used. It's gonna be a fun time.
You
It was
didn't
right
lose
after
that.
you
Like you
practiced
played
with
that
me.
ball the whole time.
Yeah. If I
Yeah.
shot that well, I don't think I'm gonna be losing a ball.
Oh, Mister, I don't lose balls. I thought that was what you did on the golf course.
We only lost
when
like
we played.
3 or 4 each.
Each.
Hey, I didn't lose any, and I think Jim and I actually found 1 or 2 throughout the day.
Yeah,
Well,
I feel like
Jim lost his first driver ball of the day,
Yeah.
even though Jim
I firmly disagree with
contests
you.
that it went
Firmly.
350
Oh,
yards into the
no.
left.
Let's back up. Let's back up. Jim and I both lost our tee shots on our hole one.
Oh, that's true.
I didn't lose shit.
Yes, you absolutely
Jim, it was
did.
in the
It
woods.
went
Muff
right into
refused
like
to let
that
me go
watery
look
No,
for
hole.
it.
on the actual
No,
first hole, the
Jim,
short hole.
on
Literally
hole 5,
teeing
which is hole 5, which is our hole 1, which is like the 80-some yard par
Yep.
3.
You went
And
straight
Oh yeah,
left.
that sucker was gone.
Yeah, okay. I was like, we both did, so I'm not knocking.
Yeah, I think Alex went in the woods. You went in the gully. I was
Yeah.
off the green, and Muff was closest to the pin.
Yeah, that happened.
I'm not going to say that's how it was all day, but that's a good summation of how a lot of things went.
how it started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. And just because, it's been a couple weeks and we've had a lot of things happen in the world, especially in the United States, who do we think would win in a golf match? Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or me?
You.
Okay, wait. Never mind. You.
Both of them claim that they are better golfers than me based on their handicap.
There's not a
But we have to figure
chance
out their handicap.
that
like-
well, both. I could tell you what both of their handicaps are right now.
Yeah.
They're
Well, I
golf
don't think-
handicaps, guys.
Okay, back up.
Yeah, their handicaps are
You're interested in life.
rough.
Okay.
Can either one of them make it through 18 holes?
Yeah, Donald
Right.
Trump is an avid golfer, that I will say, but I do think there's
You
some.
mean he goes there a lot?
He golfs. He has.
Is there a lot?
He wins. He wins club championships. He says.
Yeah, he does because
He says
he pays for it.
He has course records.
Because he pays for it. Those are his courses.
Well, I think what happens is when he opens a new course, he's the first one to play it, and he says he has the course record.
Or
He's not
Honestly,
wrong. It's not wrong. It's just an incomplete story.
well, for like a day, it was a complete story.
Yep. All right. Let's move on into the WNBA. The W. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have continued to achieve at unprecedented levels in the WNBA, as Reese became the first player in WNBA history to record at least 10 consecutive double-doubles in a single season, and on Sunday became the first player to record 13 in a row in WNBA history, 13 consecutive double-doubles. And Clark became the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double. If everybody in this group was voting right now, who would you vote as the WNBA Rookie of the Year?
Ooh, that's tough. Go ahead, somebody else while I look this
I'll
up.
say, based on numbers, I think I would vote Angel Reese.
Yeah, if you're just going on numbers, if you're like, but yeah, I think I'm with Nate.
I think I still am gonna go with Caitlin Clark for the time being. Not the double doubles thing. I mean, that's impressive. But just because you have like 10, 12 points and 10, 12 rebounds a game does not, I think, make you the rookie of the year. It makes you a top level player, but there are a lot of basketball players and even in the NBA that get double doubles consistently, and they're thought of as just like players on the team that serve a role. So I think right now Caitlin Clark's still the rookie of the year. If Angel Reese continues this streak through like not the rest of the season, but for a significant part of the remainder of the season, I think that then it's a coin flip with the media who's gonna end up with that title.
Both their teams have losing records right now.
Correct.
Right?
That's the
And the term is most valuable player.
It's
So,
rookie of the year.
I thought you said MVP. My fault. My
No.
fault.
No,
Rookie of the
MVP.
year.
Yeah.
Good
I'm
movie.
I'm Angel Reese. Yeah,
Because
Angel Reese. Because I think the consistency and what she does for her team consistently, I think she's the motivator there. But it's razor thin. Don't get it twisted. Like
that's what I'm saying. This is like a coin flip, I think, for the media and what they want to do to progress the game. And that's what I think is going to end up getting at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But both players have been named to Team WNBA, who will compete against Team USA traveling to the Olympics on July 20th as part of their All-Star Weekend activities. That will also have an orange carpet fan event, which I'm unsure exactly what that means. Guessing it's just
I don't know what this means.
I'm guessing it's like an interactive event where the players will be available to some degree, and fans will be able to walk around, meet them, take pictures, all that kind of stuff. Then they'll have a traditional skills challenge before the game, which will be, I believe, the game's going to be on a Saturday. So it'll be interesting. It's interesting how that
Okay,
goes.
it's gonna be on Saturday, but what time?
That's a fair point too.
Pretty sure it's Saturday. I mean, I assumed it was Saturday. I did look that deeply. It could be Sunday afternoon for all I know, because that would be par for the course.
More golf reference. Love it.
Bingo, bingo. Anything else in the WNBA? Most faithful fans, Jim?
No, I mean that's been the highlights of it. Like that's the nuts and bolts. So
who's the best team right now?
I think the Liberty?
The Liberty, which the Fever beat last night behind Caitlin Clark's triple-double.
Yeah. See,
All
I'm
right.
not totally off base.
You aren't. Moving into the football world.
Well,
Roger Goodell in the NFL got as the U.S. District Court ruled the NFL violated antitrust laws and how it was distributing out-of-market games through premium services. While the NFL is going to appeal, the court initially ordered $4.7 billion to be paid to the residential class, so the individual consumer, and $96 million to the commercial class, which would be like bars, anybody that's doing it at a large scale level, distributing to multiple people. The lawsuit claimed that the league broke antitrust laws by selling its package of Sunday games at an inflated price. Subscribers also say the league restricted competition by offering Sunday ticket only on a satellite provider. Possible steps forward to benefit those that were impacted could be options to purchase single team streaming plans, and the residential class could see as much as $5,000 if this continues to roll through after the appeals. How long do we think this is really going to take to plan out, and how much money are people really going to see if this stays this way?
I think it'll be years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a thing at all.
Now, knowing the NFL, they'll try to drag it out as long as possible to not to pay out anything. But when they're talking about purchasing on a per game basis, I'm surprised that wasn't a thing in the past to say, oh, well, you can buy an individual game at this rate, or you can do the year-long Sunday ticket for a discount.
Yeah, well, I think the single team streaming plan I think is going to be the more interesting one. It's like, okay, I think the NBA does this. They have like an NBA League Pass where you can pay a month to month or I think an annual fee of X dollars and you have access to all of your favorite teams' games or the teams that you choose. So I mean, I think that's one thing that's going to come out of this. It's going to help, which Jim, for your fandom may be a good thing.
It still
you may.
costs way too much. The Sunday ticket is way too expensive.
Well, I think that's part of this fallout as well, is that you're going to see a more reasonable price. I'm not going to say it's still not going to be something that you can be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to drop this money real quick. But I mean, this is something that's positive for the fans. I think in the end, it just may take, as we said, years to play out.
I think that there's, to get deeper than I want to get, like, I think that there's the cable and cutting the cord and going digital and where to put your product is still so damn convoluted that I'm surprised that it's just Roger getting hung out. And
Well,
then
when Roger represents the owners, ultimately the owners
right,
pay in the end.
I just think it's still gonna be a lot messier for a longer time until eventually we're all gonna go back to being attached to something. Like eventually the machine's gonna catch up. But
I for
I
one
don't necessarily
was
blame the NFL on this one.
no, I for one was this is the first I think big L that I've seen Roger take in immediate perspective, aside from like the concussion stuff, which obviously he was, just he was the first one through the door. But
Yeah.
this is something that he really, the fans are upset and have created an issue here. So
I think again, this is I think like you said with concussions, first one through the door. Like I'm saying, I think he's just the first one through the door.
yeah.
Like the NHL does a similar thing. The NBA does a similar thing where they have their stuff just on one or two streaming services, and it's gonna be ironed out. And like I said, eventually, whether we'll be on all Google or all Apple, we're all gonna be tied to a service eventually.
And it was basically full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pirates had to be reined in, and that's what happened.
And there's new pirates.
Yep.
I mean, that's
Yep.
a new type of antitrust situation could come up in 10, 15 years.
Absolutely.
All right. In other football related news, NCAA Division I Council has removed cannabis and cannabis products such as marijuana from their list of banned substances, and any student athletes currently serving penalties will have those penalties discontinued. This ruling is specific to Division I athletics, and that does not at this time apply to Division II or Division III levels. In a couple statements, and I quote, the NCAA drug testing program is intended to focus on integrity of competition, and cannabis products do not provide a competitive advantage. This was from Josh Whitman, chair of NCAA's Division I Council and an athletic director at the University of Illinois. And the NCAA is saying that it will shift its focus to education and harm reduction strategies. How we feel about this? Is this too little, too late? Do we like this? How do we feel?
I think I've been different because they're going to do it regardless. So now you're just saying, oh, we're not going to test for it.
I agree with the fact that it doesn't improve your performance. So if you're in a state where it's legal, then you should be allowed to do it. But it's like being drunk. I mean, you're not going to play well if you're drinking all the time. You're probably not going to play well if you're high.
I think the devil's in the details. Like, if you're pro marijuana, I've heard the arguments be that the only marijuana is good for healing. Okay, well, so are steroids, so are for healing. Therefore, it's performance enhancing because you're not out there being natural.
I mean, I understand. They're saying it's, I mean, the angle is it's a natural pain relief option, correct?
I mean, so is ibuprofen. I mean, that's not natural.
But I understand. I'm not like that's why I'm like hedging, because I am not in favor of banning marijuana at all. But what I'm saying is like to say, well, it's not performance enhancing, so we're cool with it. No, like because the argument that was made a long time ago was it is performance enhancing, and both sides made that argument.
I don't remember that performance enhancing being an argument for this. I remember it being illegal.
Okay. I'm saying that that's probably not the way that I would have phrased why it's okay. I would have said something to the effect of, look, it's legal, it's deemed not harmful, not worth our time and money and effort to test for it. I wouldn't have gone the performance enhancing route.
See, yeah, I guess like the legal thing, and then like also I don't see it as performance enhancing. And if everyone can use it, then
Also, if they're not going to be testing for it, I mean, the states where it's illegal, then we have nothing, unless somebody gets caught otherwise, to ever potentially get them in trouble with. Not that I'm saying athletic departments are sharing it with like school conduct offices, but it could violate school policies all at the same time, or local, federal, state policies, or state policies, I should say.
And then let's talk about like NIL deal.
I think this is already on like the banned options. You cannot.
It is.
Yeah.
But like
they could be opening it up. I agree.
We're kind of saying, look, there's nothing wrong with it. But don't you get your NIL money on it.
They're not saying there's nothing wrong with it. They're saying they're going to be doing education and the harmful effects of being, addicted or using it improperly or overusing it. Like that's part of what I just said too, Jim.
Right, but that's my point here. Is like, wait, so it is bad, but it's not bad enough to like.
It's not performance enhancing. They're saying
so it's okay. We're not going to test for it.
No. They're saying it's not performance enhancing, so we're not going to test for it because that's the reason that we test for performance enhancing elements. They're now saying, but there are harmful impacts, so we want to educate. We're just not going to test for it. It's legal, whatever. I don't know.
I think it's sketchy and good for the students. I'm cool with it. I think it gives them freedoms, and we shouldn't be monitoring the shit anyway. But they saved a lot of face that they should have just ignored it, not made it a thing.
There it is. Any other thoughts on this, Nate?
Nope.
News came out last week in the NFL that Aaron Rodgers was in Egypt instead of at his mandatory mini camp in June, which we had talked about. But the speculation was, where was he? And the reports came out and said that he was in Egypt. I don't know how I don't think he's confirmed that anywhere that I saw. But it was stated in this report that he scheduled the trip to Egypt while rehabbing from his torn Achilles last season, and initially believed those dates wouldn't overlap with New York's offseason program. According to NFL reporter Andrew Siciliano, Rodgers was fined as expected, but ultimately those fines added up to over $100,000 for missing those 3 days of mandatory minicamp. Do we think this is a problem, any bigger of a problem now that we know where he was, or is this just the same issue for those that perceive this as an issue?
Yeah, if I just randomly was like, my boss was like, hey, you can't go on vacation to Egypt because we need you at work, and I went to vacation in Egypt, I would get fired.
Yes, but I guess to Muff's question, does Egypt matter? If it was, hey man, we need you here, and you said, well, I'm leaving. Yeah, I agree with your point, but does Egypt or Florida matter to you?
No.
And
I don't care. He wasn't where he was supposed to be for his job.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. I'm interested though to see why he was in Egypt, because he's a quirky guy. Like, what new healing method is in Egypt that he discovered?
Gemstones for in his butt.
Right.
I was wondering if we were going to get there.
And you
did.
He was sitting
Did
on a
he
pyramid.
lock himself in a temple, a dark temple?
He was perched on a pyramid.
Right.
I mean, I don't think the location makes any difference to my thoughts. It was a pre-scheduled trip that he talked to the coaches.
Oh my Christ.
Well, I don't care that it's Egypt versus any other
location.
location.
Have you put a resume in? You
Well,
are
here's
the
my
biggest
question.
I said my thoughts don't
a
change.
pre-scheduled trip.
That was
Well, here's
always
my question.
that always was the statement, Jim. There's nothing new there.
Did he schedule this during the season? Because it said they scheduled this whenever he was rehabbing. So is he more focused on his vacations than the performance of the team?
Thank you.
He scheduled this last year.
But when?
During his rehab.
I'm normally more focused on planning a vacation than working, so I don't blame you.
And there's your snippet for the day.
Just saying.
He was fined in accordance with everything else.
That's great. He paid his penance, but was he more focused on his vacations than his job
well,
as he was rehabbing?
What about players? How would you compare this, Jim, to players that skipped mandatory minicamp because even though they're under contract, they're looking to get a better contract and they don't show up
Muff,
to the mandatory minicamp?
Also BS.
you and I have managed people. My question for you is, if you found out
I asked your question first.
8 months ago,
I asked the question first.
8 months ago,
My question still stands.
I didn't hear your question. I was too busy trying to formulate my own.
I said, this is that right there is a microcosm of Jim and I's relationship.
Yes, it was.
I said, Nate, what did I even say? Tell
exactly.
Jim.
It was worthless.
No, it was not.
I'm trying to.
No, you were asking, do you feel the same about this as you do the people that are basically like committed to a team, but then they don't show up to their mandatory mini camps because they're holding out for a better contract?
Yes.
I do too. You weren't at your job. Workers work, Jim.
Yeah, duh. Now, if it was 8 months ago and you had an employee who was supposed to be rehabbing and focusing on the team, planning his trip for 8 months later.
Do you expect him to be rehabbing and focusing on the team 24/7?
If I want my
24/7
star player who I've given all my money to and made the focal point of my team, I would hope that he's mentoring what quarterback I have left.
Zach
at least
Wilson.
have a salvageable
I think everyone
season.
knew that Zach Wilson. Jim, he wasn't even in the area the whole time. He was in like California rehabbing most of the time.
Yeah, and on TripAdvisor.
And Yelp.
What if he was doing that at like 10 p.m., Jim? Still an issue?
Then he should be resting because injuries need rest, right, Alex?
Yes.
Injuries need rest. Alex said yes to that. Alex did not necessarily agree with the entire statement, just so we're clear.
Injuries need
I don't know.
rest.
All I'm saying is he could have planned this earlier in the off season and avoided this altogether.
The off season.
I don't disagree with that, Nate. Just wanted to see how Jim felt.
It came out of Nate's mouth. It was okay.
Well, and I'm more. If I'm his teammate too, I'm pissed because it's like, okay, you were only in for a few snaps in one game because of a freak injury, and now in mandatory minicamp you're not there. It's like, how are you supposed to get like timing with your receivers and all that? Like, we know his cadence of drawing people off. It's like, how are you supposed to get those extra reps and just any normal reps in general and say, oh, you'll just get in a regular minicamp? But it's like, well, then why have mandatory minicamp in June? It's like he should be there with those younger guys and guys in general that need to learn the way he plays the game.
I mean, he did attend every optional
Here we go.
training
The
activity.
apologist. The apologist is going to
I'm
respond.
just saying
You need to be on his PR team.
he attended every optional training camp, which is activity, which is intended for the new guys, and that's what he was there for. Not all veterans go to those things.
And then he went to Egypt.
So I'm going to show up for the stuff that's not required, but if it's required, screw it.
I mean, isn't that how a lot of people live their lives?
Not winners.
To be determined. Speaking of people that are not winners, the United States of America, inventor of American football, played in the International Federation of American Football Under-20 World Championships last month and couldn't even get a medal, losing to Japan 41-20 and later to Austria in the bronze medal game, with Canada taking home the championship. How in the hell does the United States, even with, we'll say Division II and Division III players in college most likely, lose to countries that may not have any zero players that have come into the NFL.
I didn't even know how this event was a thing
Thank you.
until I saw they lost to Japan. But yeah, it's like this is it's almost kind of like Olympic basketball where you expect them to win all the time. It's like you guys should at least freaking medal. It's our sport, damn it.
I guess how this goes out is they just put out all these letters to people that meet the criterion to be on the team, which does include like D3 players and all of that. So I don't even know who's on the team. Obviously, we're not getting that Division I talent because why would they risk injury, especially with NIL at this point? But I would still hope with the B and the C team we can medal.
This ain't the B and the C team. This is like the E and the F.
So we need better scrubs at football.
Yeah. Calling all scrubs, do better for this.
There you go. I actually went through and was looking at the coaching staff out of my own interest and found that the running backs coach for this team was a former head coach at my high school.
All right. Cool.
It's interesting, I thought. He's from Canada too. So there we are. Moving on to other interesting news in sports.
Other interesting news in sports.
Another disappointment for the United States as the United States men's national soccer team didn't make it to the knockout rounds in the Copa America tournament after many thought they had a real chance to make a run. They lost to Panama and Uruguay while beating Bolivia in group play. For the group.
Who did they lose to?
Say it again, Alex.
Who did they lose to?
Panama and Uruguay.
I just think you say Uruguay word.
How did he say it? I'm just so used.
Uruguay.
Uruguay.
I think I can say it both ways and still be correct in this one.
Can you say footage too?
I've accepted fault in that one.
Okay.
For a soccer group, a generation that many are touting as the golden generation in American soccer, been a lot of underperforming and lack of confidence and really coverage. Do we think we'll ever see greatness from the United States in soccer?
No. It's not even a top 3 sport in America. Meanwhile, other countries, it's do or die. Like some countries, it's like Canada with hockey. Soccer is their national sport.
Yeah, but
for American, soccer falls behind football, basketball, and baseball.
And hockey?
I say it's a close runner-up with hockey, depending on who you ask.
Jim? Hockey, soccer?
Hockey.
Alex?
Hockey.
Hockey. I'm also a hockey there too. I actually watched this. I only watched one of the games, the game against Uruguay, and it was everybody's already calling for the head coach, which they've been doing for like the past 6 to 12 months anyway. But they were playing at the same time as Bolivia and Panama, and if the United States tied and Panama won, the United States would go through the knockout rounds, and the coach was giving the players updates like on the field about what was going on because Panama was winning. Within 5 minutes after Panama went up in that game, the United States let a goal in. And I was like, why? Just let them play. I feel like this is like the time when you don't do this, but we suck at soccer. End of discussion. In baseball, Edwin Diaz of the Mets was suspended after getting caught with a sticky substance on his hands. It's a lot of videos coming out trying to speculate what was there. Many say, as we would expect, that it's spider tack. He has denied wrongdoing since returned. Do we believe that he was not using any sticky substances?
It looks sticky to me.
Yeah, very sticky. Looked very sticky.
Very sticky on his fingers.
I think somebody sent me this, so I'm sorry that I didn't remember, but a fan sent me this. So thank you, whoever that was.
Brown rosin is what it looked like.
Stickiest of the
Did you see this?
I did not, but I had a coach today in a 14U game ask me if sweat and rosin was legal, and I looked at him and I said, at 14, I don't even think that kid knows that trick, so we're fine.
What would you have done if he had asked you to go inspect him?
I would have told him no.
You had to pat down a 14-year-old.
No.
It'd been like date night with you and Sam.
Is it allowable in what you referee, Nate? Or you umpire?
I mean, I don't think there's anything in the high school rule book against it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, my God, it's a 14U travel ball team. It's like,
Yeah,
tell your
that's
kid to
stupid.
hit the damn ball.
Oh, speaking of travel ball, what is the trend of giving the champion of some of these tournaments rings? They look very expensive.
What tournaments?
All these kids winning these summertime leagues getting like championship rings.
Where have you seen this?
I've seen it. They're mostly like fake though. Like,
Are they fake?
Are they just fancy participation trophies?
No, they're like, hey,
yes.
you won the tournament. Here's the ring. Here, I'll
I mean,
send it to you.
I don't get that because you think how many different tournaments you play in.
I know.
It's not like you won your state championship or a national championship. It's like, congratulations, you won the sports stuff with Jim and Muff baseball tournament.
First of all,
It looks
you
like a
deserve
big
one.
deal, though.
First of all, does that mean we're hosting one?
We
We
could
should.
probably start one if we really
Push the
wanted.
rules.
We should.
We have an
Sponsored by
umpire. Sponsored by whom? Sorry.
Busch Light.
Yeah. Sponsored by Busch Light, Nate. It's 12U, sponsored by Busch Light, Nate umpires every
Can we move this baseball topic along?
We'll have to make it like banana ball, and Alex will have to come up
I-
with the in-between inning acts or whatever.
What's
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him loose.
what's Jim's role, Nate?
Jim's gonna be the MC.
What's Alex doing?
Alex is like the rodeo clown or whatever. And he's gonna
Alex
get everybody involved.
in-game entertainment.
And
Yeah,
then
like
Muff,
stand on the dugout, like
since I have to be the umpire.
What am I?
you work the concession stand.
Ouch. I was hoping that wasn't what you were going to say, Alex, but
I thought you'd do a great job at it.
You just told her to go to the kitchen.
No, that's not what I said. I said the concession stand.
What do they do there?
When we were little, my sister used to call it the confession stand. And she
My
would be like,
brother once
Mom,
part of the
can I go to the confession stand?
Could have a lot of interesting confessions at the confession stand, I guess.
Oh my
Fun
god.
story. One time my brother went to my dad's car and got one of his credit cards and tried to use it at the concession stand.
Did it work?
No. He also called it the concussion stand.
Maybe your brother and my sister were meant to be.
I would not wish that upon anyone.
An update on the Pirates. Pirates blew another game on Sunday, which Alex was in attendance for, so we'll let Alex break down the day in Pittsburgh. The Pirates lost to the Mets after Aroldis Chapman gave up 2 runs in the top of the 9th, dropping the Pirates to 42 and 47. This was only a couple days after they had an offensive explosion with 7 home runs as they ran out of fireworks during the game. The Pirates do have 2 All-Stars, with Paul Skeens being selected along with Brian Reynolds, but they did just put 2 pitchers on the injured list in Bailey Falter and Jared Jones. Alex, how was your experience at the Pittsburgh and at the Pirates game today?
Honestly, it sucked ass because we lost, but I had a great time. We had good seats. Long first baseline in the shade. Got there early, parked in a lot close to the stadium, played some cornhole, and had a good time. But
Did you drink Busch Light?
I did drink some Busch Lights, but I was driving, so only a couple. But it was, I don't know, I didn't even feel like sad. Like we were all standing up, it's like the last strike. Like
The
we think we're
feeling
gonna
you had
win.
was drunk, Alex. That's the
No, I was
feeling you
not
had.
drunk. I was not drunk. We're like standing up, and for the last strike, and they hit the ball and get 2 runs, and they're winning now. And like I'm so used to it as a Pirates fan, I was just like, that sucks. Like I should have been more sad. I did get a cool new Pirate shirt though. Some guy was selling it on the side of the road. It's like red tie-dye. And he was like, I picked it up, was like looking at it, and it was this little store thing. And this guy's like, yeah, $20 cash, or you have to wait in line to pay for it. And I was like, sweet, yeah, $20 here. And I walked away, and I got back to our car, and I like put it in my car, and I was like, now that I think about it, I might have just stole a shirt and given some guy $20 cash.
Don't ask any questions. Just make it happen.
Nope, I didn't. I dropped $20. I was like, sweet, see ya.
Yeah. Did you get any food? Any food, Alex, at the game?
Dippin' Dots, but they're not called Dippin' Dots now. They were like mini something, like mini melts. It was very
It's probably
weird.
knockoff Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, they were knockoff Dippin' Dots.
No renegade dog.
No, I didn't. They got hot dogs. We had some pepperoni rolls and stuff for the game. I just wasn't really that hungry.
Didn't do the 999 challenge.
Hey, not.
Jim,
Jim,
do you know what the line challenge is?
9 beers, 9 hot dogs, and 9 innings.
Bingo.
That
I
sounds
could do 9
awful.
beers.
The 9 beers would be easy. The
That's
9
like-
hot dogs,
Yeah,
hard pass.
that would get me.
Hard pass.
I think that's a new competition to consider at some point.
Nope.
I mean, I'd try it, but I'll probably throw up.
Nope.
I like how Joey Chestnut just ate like 58 hot dogs, vegan hot dogs at that.
You're just skipping way ahead.
Sorry.
It's,
No, I was
it's
just
on
making
topic with hot dogs.
I'm just making the comparison that like he just ate that many hot dogs. I'm like 9 hot dogs. I don't think I can do it in 3 hours.
All
I mean,
right,
we can skip the NFL. I'm cool with, or the NBA. I'm good with that.
Alex and Nate, how do we feel about the Pirates so far, and do we think there's any hope for continued success,
Oh, damn Yinzers.
or at least being competitive in August, September? Nate, how do you feel?
Will they be competitive in August, September? Absolutely not. I mean, they're fun to watch right now. It's just they're up again, down again. They just need back end bullpen pitching, and they could be better. But I mean, they're nowhere near ready to compete at that level.
Yeah, I think they have. I think their bullpen has blown 16 games this year. I think was
Sounds
the
about
number I
right.
saw.
Yeah,
So
probably
and
15
Yeah, and it only
of them.
costs us what? About
15 of
10.5?
them worth for their ace.
Yeah, where they like we've blown that many saves that it cost us like 10.5 million, aka a Roldis Chapman's contract.
Yeah, like today.
Yes, like today. Well, and Bednar not in there either, but he wasn't playing well all the same. Also in baseball world, former Texas A&M coach Jim Schlossnagle is now the Texas head coach. Going back on his word in less than 24 hours, and during a press conference, he said, and I quote, "I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again." Less than 24 hours later, he is announced as the coach at Texas. Another example of what's been going on over the years with coaches. We see this to some degree in college football. But now at least players have a similar recourse with the transfer portal. Do we think this is going to get better or worse with coaches now and into the future in college athletics?
I think it'll be about neutral. I mean, coaches don't seem to like really make that jump like players do as often.
Jim?
I'm with Nate. I agree with Nate.
Alex?
I think that it seems like everybody involved in teams shifts around more than they used to. But I think the big one's going to be players. I think they'll do it. I don't know if it'll change a lot with the coaches as much. I think it's just slowly been increasing, and it'll just probably stay about the trajectory it was on.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be more focus on players that do it. I think coaches is kind of old hat. We just expect that to happen to some degree, but this is kind of a shitty situation where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm here because I don't want to be anywhere else." It's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
sorry guys."
Can't wait till they play each other in conference play next year.
Yeah, right.
There's going to be some
Hatred.
some fastballs to the back at some point.
Over
Jim.
into the dugout.
Yeah, maybe that too. Jim, your favorite time, NBA?
Yay.
The NBA draft was a couple weeks ago and saw more players from abroad selected with the top picks. As the top 5 selections went a little bit like this, we had Zachary Ricochet going to the Atlanta Hawks. He played in France. Alex Sarr went to the Wizards. He was playing in Australia. Reed Shepherd went to the Rockets from the University of Kentucky. Stephon Castle went to the Spurs. He was at Connecticut last year. And Ron Hall II went to the Pistons, and he was playing in the G League. But the gem of the draft, coming in to pick number 55 to the Los Angeles Lakers, Ronnie James.
Literally only because his dad's on the team. Change your mind.
Did you not see that LeBron said that he had nothing to do with this decision?
Yeah, and I totally believe that. Not.
There were reports that Ronnie James' agent Rich Paul was telling teams not to draft him prior to the Lakers' second round pick, and if they did, he was going to play internationally in like Australia.
Yeah, he says, I don't have anything to do with it. You do what you want to do, but I'm just saying, like, if you don't draft my son, I'll just go to whatever team does. But I didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't tell him I had to. I just said I was going to whatever team he does.
I
There
didn't
was
say I was going to shoot you. I just had the gun to your head with my finger on the trigger.
Yeah.
there was a lot of chatter about the coverage and the commentary during the draft being lackluster, that no one caring about the draft, especially with so many foreign-born players being selected. So a lot of the regular personalities that keep up with things domestically, maybe with college and some of the other high-profile G League players. But over the past couple of years, we've had Victor Wembanyama, you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic. There's a lot of this international flavor coming to the NBA. Do we have any, aside from Jim's thought of he hates the NBA, any reasons why we think the NBA draft typically doesn't get as much hype overall and attention, aside from maybe one or two players?
I think because of the international play, we don't really hear or get to see these players like we do, like NFL draft, like all these college guys you see. Like, you don't hear about these guys until it's draft time. You're like, oh, well, so and so is going to be the number one pick. Well, where's he play? Well, he plays in Italy.
Yeah, I had no idea who this guy from France was that got drafted
Who's
first.
your star player for Penn State on the basketball side, Muff?
They graduated a whole bunch of people. I honestly don't know who it is this year.
West Virginia. Who's the star basketball player?
They have like a new roster this year. They have a new head coach.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's a shit show.
That's a transfer portal, Jim, right there.
And I think that's my point. It's like, number one, we aren't the best fan base for keeping track of college basketball players. The transfer portal and the college system is like not the best for your local like Midwest teams.
Well, plus, like a guy from WVU would have to be absolutely exceptional to be going in the NBA draft.
Right. So, like, your markets, your TV markets don't have teams that on the college side that draw attention that are going to make the draft worth a shit.
Well, yeah, because I can get there's usually a decent chance that maybe one guy from WVU is gonna go at some point, at least on the football team in the NFL draft. So,
Right.
like, I'm gonna watch it, maybe even just rooting for him.
And you're a Steeler fan.
Yeah.
And you understand the draft process, and there's not a lottery, and like you know how it works.
Yes.
Ohio State has at least one in the first two rounds. Penn State, like, we know the guys that are going, and we're bought into the draft. Like, college wise, only time we care about college basketball is when we can bet our faces off in March.
Sure.
Indeed. Another NBA news. All of the players are getting all of the money with these huge guaranteed deals, hundreds of millions of dollars. But one person that's not signing just yet is LeBron James, who opted out of his contract with the Lakers in order to work on a new deal. Do you think there's any chance he doesn't end up in LA?
No.
Not now that Bronny's there.
I also think I also think the huge money causes a dystopian take on things from your fan base, where they're like, "We don't care about you. You make too much money. You sit out games."
Right. Remember, that was a big thing with load management is players have to play in a certain percentage of games to be eligible for like MVP and for all NBA, which is part of these escalating clauses in their contracts to get these super max. So yeah, fans have come out and expressed their displeasure, and the NBA is trying to address it.
But you're paying them gobs of money to play very little games in markets we just don't give a shit about.
I don't know if it's the market you don't care about, Jim. I think it's the game.
Do you care about what happens in LA, Golden State, Boston?
What, basketball?
Yeah.
I pay attention.
But are you invested in the outcome?
Sometimes. Not often, but sometimes, yes.
Like, it's the
Only when you have a bet.
No, I do get invested in some of that because it is pretty interesting drama to see this play out. I mean, just think about things like James Harden. Like, that's interesting of how that's all going down.
But the middle of the country, we have no investment.
Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, okay.
Chicago Bulls.
Oh, when was the last time that they had a reason for us to be like, yay? Because let me
It's
tell
been
you, and
off.
I'm being sincere. Like, I know I'm a big basketball hater, but like, if the Bulls made a run this year,
Mhm.
I would be invested. I'd be like, sweet, let's watch.
But they haven't.
But I'm not.
Yeah. Klay Thompson is out at Golden State. It's the Splash Brothers combination of him and Steph Curry now no longer a thing. He did sign a deal to join Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic in Dallas.
We're a super team.
They're not a super team.
But it,
The Mavs
okay,
were finals.
okay, Muff. From your generic fan base, like people who don't follow basketball, that sounds like a super team to me. Why do I want to watch that?
Super teams everywhere, buddy.
Yeah.
The
Except in Chicago or Indiana.
Indiana made it to the conference finals this year, Jim.
With a super team or no?
No, they had Tyrese Halliburton.
That's what I mean.
So something that wasn't so super this year, the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest on Independence Day, July 4th. And it was a dud without Joey Chestnut, who, as Alex has already referenced, later that day beat the mark at the event. Probably didn't even really train at that point because he's
in half the time, right?
I didn't see that part.
I heard, and I didn't do enough research to know if it's true or false. I heard he ate as many hot dogs as the winner did, but like in half the time. But they were vegan hot dogs, so they don't count.
As the winner, you're talking about he beat the winner. The winner was eating vegan.
No,
No,
Chestnut was eating
Chestnut.
vegan. That was the whole reason he's not allowed in it, Jim.
Because he wouldn't eat Nathan's hot dogs. And they're like, no, you
Oh,
eat.
because he switched. I thought, okay, cool.
So without Joey Chestnut participating and now doing a Netflix special with Kobayashi on Labor Day, is this even going to be worth watching? And it's like ESPN going to continue to cover this like they have?
No.
No, not unless there's a new competitive eater that comes out of the woodworks.
I want to see 5 fucking sumos.
What, eating
Well,
eating
you kind of
hard-boiled eggs?
Well, Jim,
Whatever they
did you
want.
see? Did you see Eric Badlands chug that gallon of lemonade?
No.
That's your guy right there.
New world record, Jim. You need to look him up after the show. Eric Badlands.
Okay.
Eric Badlands Booker, and you may have seen you'll probably find this as well if you get into this, Jim, but afterwards as he's standing there with his championship belts, the person next to him started to reverse their lemonade.
Was it a time thing?
Reverse their lemonade.
Yes. The time thing. He chugged a gallon of lemonade in a new world record 21 seconds.
Oh, there's no. I was like, a gallon of lemonade I could probably do without time, but like 20 seconds. That's insane.
It makes me nauseous to think about chugging anything, but like especially like sugary lemonade. Oh.
21 seconds.
Oh, he's a bad man.
It also depends on the lemonade.
I'm picturing like
this was traditional. This was traditional
lemon drink,
this
like orange
traditional
drink,
lemonade.
but lemon.
This is traditional lemonade.
Well, what does that mean to you, Muff? Like we're talking.
Oh, I don't know if it was
squeeze.
fresh. I don't know if it was fresh squeezed. How much? I'm saying traditionally, it wasn't like strawberry lemonade. It was your typical.
No, that's my thing because I can make lemonade that's like full tilt lemon, full tilt sugar. Because if it was super sugar, I couldn't do it. But if it was a nice calm mixture, I'd be like, yeah. 21 seconds, I don't know, but
21 seconds. You could not. I will tell you right now, not going to happen.
I don't know.
Don't let him put you down. You should try it, Jim.
Yeah, Jim, back it up, buddy.
That's a contest I would think about.
Okay, write it down, Alex.
Noted.
Well done. I think we already talked about this, but it became official as Jessica Campbell officially becomes the first full-time NHL assistant, first full-time woman NHL assistant earning a position with the Kraken. Jim, you feeling great about this move?
Yeah, we talked about this before, and I think my comment then was hockey is such a weird dichotomy. Like, there's a lot of things they don't move forward with, and then there's a lot of things like, oh wow, great for being progressive. Like, very confusing. But yeah, this is awesome.
Good. And you will be able to see the results.
Yeah.
And in the fight game, Jim, do you have any knowledge? Do you want to talk about what's going on with Khabib and Conor McGregor just roasting
I
him
have
on Twitter?
brief knowledge. Khabib's gym was raided by Russian authorities because one of the people who trained there in 2021 for a month was associated with a terrorist attack on Jews and Christians. But also, Khabib is in trouble with the Russian government for not paying. I use quotes because it's Russia, for not paying $3 million in taxes to the Russian government. Side note, I don't know how that works because Vladimir gifted him a lot of things and now he owes $3 million in taxes. So it's not like our system when I say taxes because it's Russia. Please remember. Anyway, so he has all this drama, and the report came out that was like, hey, Khabib's not going back to Russia because he's got issues in Russia. That makes sense logically. Well, Conor, being Conor, was like, tweeted, scurry, rat, scurry. Which makes you, like, as a logical thinking person, if you know Russia and you know that it's corrupt and you know that this guy's escaping a corrupt system, and Conor is supporting Russia in that tweet then, right?
Well, Conor has said all along that he thought that Khabib was shady and like doing illegal things. So I think he's more saying, I've been telling everybody that Khabib and his operation was shady. Now this is being proven. I don't know if he's necessarily
I would be
Rush.
okay if it was like drugs or mob or that he was involved in a killing. Like, I get it, Conor, but like the report was he owes Vladimir $3 million in the middle of a war. I'm pretty sure like the war coffers are low on Putin, so he's calling in Khabib for some funds. And Khabib's like, nah, I'm out. That's not shady. I'm running away from an evil dictator.
I mean, what Khabib's from Dagestan, right? That's where Hezbollah is. So I wonder if Hezbollah's had to pay up some money too.
The dictator.
I don't know. I think Conor's off base.
I mean, Conor's being Conor.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. This is what we expect. And outside of the fight game, but in fighting entertainment, John Cena announces he'll retire from the WWE after next year's WrestleMania.
No. He clarified that in a press conference. It will be his last WrestleMania. He plans to start a retirement tour, and if you know the WrestleMania schedule, starting at the Royal Rumble, which I believe is January. He will then start a full year to the next January. WrestleMania is in March. He's got 40 or 50 dates starting in January.
Got it.
So it will be his last Royal Rumble, his last whatever, his last WrestleMania. But he clarified he is retiring. It just won't be at WrestleMania. Leaving some to think that like they'll put the title on him one more time because he has to beat Ric Flair's inflated record. Because if you ever the documentaries that he's the 16 or 17 time world champion, woo!
Right.
They've always kept Cena at bay from getting that.
Don't they just pick who's gonna win?
Yes.
Okay.
But like in the history of the business, no, you don't ever let the Flair record be beat. But Flair's of the age and has done a lot of stupid shit that they've kind of saved it for Cena to do this on his way out.
Gotcha.
Which is why I say he's not retiring at WrestleMania, because they might put a belt on him at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And Flair's daughter's been hurt too, so I don't know if that has anything to do with this. If, like, she's not in the picture at all. It's like, oh.
Right. There's not a lot of ties to pissing that family off.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else to talk about, gents?
Winner of the Chicago race, Bowman.
Wow. Was it worth watching, Nate?
Just for the crashes. That's what I want to see.
Exactly.
No, in a regular race when they just drive fast and turn left,
I get it. But this one was like, this is stupid and it's chaotic and you're just going to see a bunch of wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
Did Sam stick around and watch it, or did she find somewhere else to watch Willy Wonka?
I'm right here.
I'm right here.
I will have everyone know that it was Nate that wanted to watch Willy Wonka, not me.
I mean, I don't fault Nate for that.
Yeah. If you want to see paradise,
Simply look around and view it.
there's nothing to it.
Wanna be a dreamer, be one.
And that ends this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. You can be a dreamer. You can go down that chocolate river and find your
Thanks, Nate, because he was going down chocolate rivers.
Just be glad you're you.
You can go find your corner of the sky.
Gotta
Just make sure that you tell a friend, make a friend, be
Be
a
a
friend.
friend.